Hey guys, what's up? Stephanie, the English coach here from EnglishFullTime.com. In this video, I am going to share with you the easiest way to pass an exam, okay? So there's a few things that I'm going to say about how to do this, but for the record, I've pretty much passed every exam I've ever taken with flying colors. Passing exams never was a problem for me unless you guys saw the video that I made about the easiest way to fail an exam. I will go ahead and link it for you. But yes, if you want to know one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made on an exam and why I failed, go ahead and watch that video. But in this video, we are going to talk about the easiest way to pass an exam, okay? So first things first, if you want to pass an exam with flying colors, you have to understand that you're being tested on very specific things, okay? And most of the time, it's not really about your creativity. It's about showing the teacher or whoever is giving you the exam that you have mastered these specific skills that they want to know that you have mastered, okay? It's kind of like a weird cycle or a circle. It just goes around like this. You need to master this. You take the test to show them that you have mastered this. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it, okay? So first, you need to know exactly what is going to be on the exam, okay? You can't just guess. You can't just go into the TOEFL, the IELTS, or any kind of English exam and go, oh my gosh, I hope I pass. No, that's dumb. That's stupid. I mean, you really shouldn't do that. And it's silly because people do that all the time. They just go, ooh, you know, I haven't really been understanding what the teacher has been talking about this week, but we have an exam on Friday and I hope I pass. That, you guys, I feel like I shouldn't even have to say this. That's an awful strategy. So your first assignment, okay, in order to pass an exam with flying colors is to know exactly what you're going to be tested on. It's your responsibility to figure this out because, let's just be honest, sometimes teachers aren't very good at explaining things. Sometimes, you know, they don't teach well, or sometimes, you know, you just don't understand the way your teacher teaches. Maybe you have a fantastic teacher, but you have a different learning style. So step one, you need to figure out what you're going to be tested on, and then you need to investigate each area, each aspect of whatever that is, thoroughly on your own, using Google, using YouTube, using the materials that the teacher gave you. What I've found is that for me, I learn a lot better by, you know, investigating on my own, using the internet, not necessarily the materials that the teacher gives. Sometimes I will use whatever the teacher or whoever is testing me on whatever gives, but for the most part, I just figure out the important names, dates, events, or whatever it is that I'm going to be tested on, subjects, themes, and then I go and I do my own investigation, because then you become like a mini expert in whatever that subject is, and you prepare yourself so much more for a test, okay? So for example, I had this teacher in college for one of my Spanish classes, actually two. She taught like Spanish literature, ancient Spanish literature, and the history of the Spanish language. Her classes were pretty boring. All she would do was sit in front of the class with her handwritten notes, and she would just lecture for an hour and 20 minutes. For every single class. There was no class discussion, there were no visual aids, nothing to make the learning interactive and interesting. So all the students would pretty much just take notes on whatever she said, and I'm assuming that when it came time for the midterm or the final exam, they just studied their notes and took the test. But that is not what I did. I didn't take notes on every single thing that she said. I would just listen for whatever I felt was an important point, and then I would write it down, okay? Like, again, names, dates, themes, whatever, and then I'd go home and I would research it. So, for example, one of the events that we studied was the Spanish Inquisition, and I can't tell you how many hours of YouTube videos I watched all about the Spanish Inquisition. Now, the interesting thing is when our teacher would talk about it in class, it was pretty boring because of the way she would lecture. But then when I would go watch these videos on YouTube, I was like, oh my gosh, this is, you know, both horrific and interesting all at the same time. So I just got so interested, I would look into it more and more. And Then when it came time to take the exam, it was a written exam, and there were probably like 15 to 20 questions that I had to answer in like mini essay format or paragraph format. By the time I got the exam, I knew so much about everything that I passed that exam with flying colors. I just knew exactly what I was doing, exactly what I was getting tested on. And when the teacher got my exam and, you know, put that big fat A+ on it, she also wrote something along the lines of, wow, you really know a lot about this stuff. And I was like, yeah, because I investigated it and I looked it up, and I made the mistake of watching videos about the torture devices that were used in the Spanish Inquisition. I don't recommend doing that, you guys, because I seriously cried after watching those videos. It, like I said, horrific, very sad time in human history. I don't recommend looking that up, but you know, it helped me understand the time period, what was going on with the different people, the hierarchies, etc. So yes, in the end, it worked out and I passed that exam. I also did something very similar in high school when I had to take a chemistry class. The teacher, you know, I didn't like her teaching style. I thought the class was boring. I thought the subject was pretty boring. They made us use this big fat college textbook because it was an advanced class. They made us use this big fat textbook that had writing that was about that small. So there was tons of information to go through. And in that, for those exams and for that particular class, my strategy was just pretend to, I would pretend to love chemistry, even though I didn't love it, because I was like, look, I realized that if you're not interested in a subject, it's very hard for you to master that subject. So even if you have to pretend to be interested until you do become interested, it's worth it. And usually, you know, things are pretty interesting. We just have to be taught in a specific way or experience things in a specific way, whether it's through discussion or videos or documentaries or whatever, for us to become interested. So to recap, my methods for passing any exam is simply to know as much as the teacher knows about the subject, or more if I can. I really try to become an expert. I try to enjoy the subject even if I don't really enjoy it. I just try, because if not, it's going to be really boring. And the best way I have found for me to enjoy a subject is for me to research it, to look up blog posts about it, to look up YouTube videos, to look up testimonials from people that are talking about, you know, their experiences or what they've learned or stuff like that. So anyhow, I hope this helps you guys with the exams that you guys have to take for English. Don't rely on your teacher to just teach you everything, okay? Become a little scientist, a little investigator, whatever you want to call it. Look stuff up. And also, if you have any strategies that you would like to add on how to pass exams, feel free to add them in the comments, okay? So everyone that reads the comments is going to get more tips. Okay, that's all, guys, and I will see you in another video. Bye. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe too if you're new here so you get more videos from me. And also go ahead and check out the description, because I often include extra tips there, or resources or links to other things that I think you might find helpful. So go ahead and check that out. So for more English stuff from me, you can also go ahead and follow me on Facebook and check me out at my website, EnglishFullTime.com. All the links are in the description. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.